look to Middle Eastern diasporas for figures to inspire change. The Middle East presents a formidable array of challenges and opportunities for President-elect Trump, with the Iran nuclear issue emerging as the most perilous and complex threat to both regional stability and U.S. interests. Iran's nuclear ambitions and its potential to destabilize the balance of power overshadow other crises, including the ongoing Israel-Gaza conflict, which continues to command global attention. Compounding these concerns, Tehran has vowed retaliation following Israeli airstrikes in October, while the Houthi militia's escalating assaults on international shipping in the Red Sea further underscore the region's fraught and precarious dynamics. The Houthis are also engaged in direct hostilities against Israel. In recent weeks, the Iranian proxy group has escalated high-powered long-range missile attacks against civilian targets. Lebanon continues to grapple with a persistent political and economic crisis, exacerbated by the lingering influence of Hezbollah, which has held the Lebanese people hostage for decades. Meanwhile, Syria stands at a critical crossroads following the collapse of Bashar al-Assad's regime. The country faces monumental challenges, establishing effective governance, initiating ambitious reconstruction efforts, facilitating the return of millions of refugees and displaced persons, and crafting a clear policy framework for its new leadership. These leaders must assure the Syrian people and the international community that the country won't descend into yet another form of authoritarian rule. In this context, President-elect Donald Trump could prioritize the Abraham Accords by strengthening ties between Israel and Arab Gulf states, and by expanding it potentially to include Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Mauritania, and other nations within the broader Muslim sphere. Such an initiative would not only serve to counter Iran's waning influence in the region, but also lay the groundwork for enduring regional stability. Addressing these interconnected challenges, however, will require a strategic approach that balances diplomatic engagement, fortified alliances, and resolute leadership. Furthermore, America's commitment to fostering peace in the region calls for a collaborative response and a deep reassessment from the Arab Muslim world itself. The Arab nations confront a profound choice: either to embrace a forward-looking vision centered on prosperity, education, and advancement of their people, or to remain tethered to a regressive path defined by stagnation, inflexible ideologies, and a nostalgic idealization of a bygone era. If they fail to seize these unexpected opportunities, too many Arab youth will remain wandering refugees, or too poor to marry and too desperate to think freely. The Iranian people endure crushing poverty, with a per capita income little better than Bangladesh, while their leaders pursue policies that isolate the economy and its citizens. Despite the oppression, Iranians are demonstrating remarkable courage. Protests across Iran reveal a population yearning for freedom, dignity, and a brighter future. The Trump administration must acknowledge this struggle and take meaningful steps to support the Iranian people in their path to liberation. This vital shift can only come from within Iran, as the will of the people is the necessary force to break free from the suffocating hold of a regime that has long hindered their potential. Lebanon, too, is a nation in crisis, trapped by decades of sectarian politics that have stifled growth and paralyzed governance. Under the domination of Hezbollah, Iran's proxy, Lebanon has tumbled into economic collapse, with its once thriving middle class halved and scattered, its roads and bridges wrecked by war, and its own currency scorned by merchants who now price goods in US dollars. Lebanon's greatest asset lies in its people, particularly the dynamic and highly educated Lebanese diaspora. This global network of entrepreneurs, scholars, and professionals, exerts influence far beyond Lebanon's borders, shaping industries and institutions across the world. With the right support, this diaspora could play a pivotal role in rebuilding Lebanon, not only its economy, but also its political foundations. By appointing Massad Boulos, a Lebanese-born successful businessman and father-in-law to Trump's daughter Tiffany, as senior advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs, the Trump administration has taken a strategic step toward addressing the crisis in Lebanon. Boulos's deep ties to the region and nuanced understanding of its complexities make him uniquely positioned to help craft a pragmatic and effective approach to Lebanon's challenges. This effort would resonate far beyond Lebanon itself, as its fate is inextricably linked to the broader dynamics of the Middle East. The next Trump administration must champion efforts to liberate Lebanon from its destructive status quo, empowering its people to build a future rooted in democracy, inclusivity, and progress. Such a vision would not only benefit Lebanon, but also serve the broader cause of stability and prosperity across the region. In Syria, there is an opportunity for liberation and reconstruction. However, there are risks of replacing one form of dictatorship with another and of renewed civil war. A potential rise of governance dominated by the Muslim Brotherhood or other ideological groups poses a severe threat to the Syrian people and regional stability. Such a regime could again make Syrians prisoners of authoritarianism, this time under the guise of religious dictatorship. More dangerously, it could create fertile ground for radicalization, allowing jihadist groups to resurge. This would undermine US-led efforts to stabilize the region and dismantle extremist networks like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, threatening not only Syria, but also global security. Syria's new rulers must focus on fostering inclusive, democratic governance, rebuilding institutions, and addressing the needs of its citizens to ensure lasting stability and progress. In the Palestinian territories, power has been hijacked by corrupt leaders. Instead of focusing on education, healthcare, and technological innovation, Palestinian leaders have clung to outdated slogans and destructive strategies. However, the Palestinian diaspora, particularly those in the United States, the United Kingdom, and other nations around the world, holds the potential to bring a new, transformative perspective. These individuals, having experienced success and growth in diverse societies, can inspire a shift in mindset and approach. Their stories of overcoming challenges, excelling in business, technology, and academia, and integrating into vibrant, free societies can serve as a model of progress. The Palestinian diaspora can offer innovative solutions that prioritize education and entrepreneurship while embracing modern, inclusive values that focus on building sustainable systems for the future. The Palestinian diaspora can be a beacon of hope, showing that true liberation is about building a future rooted in innovation, peace, and a commitment to human rights. Arab nations must prioritize their citizens' well-being, aspirations, and security, creating sovereign and prosperous nations that serve their own people. This is not a call to copy, but to adapt ideas to local circumstances. History proves that nations, like individuals, thrive when they look forward, not back. For the Arab world and its neighbors, the moment has arrived to dismantle the systems that perpetuate the suffering of the many for the benefit of a privileged few. It is time to embrace bold, transformative approaches that ensure security, freedom, and prosperity for all. Now is the time to dream ambitiously and act with purpose. Let us seize the opportunity for real change, inspired by successful figures in the diaspora and by the new American administration of President Trump.